The Harry Potter reboot is finally happening, and with it comes an all-new cast stepping into the shoes of some of the most iconic characters in cinema history. But how do they compare to the originals? What can fans expect from these new portrayals? And could they actually be better? Let's dive in and explore what might change, what could improve, and what fans are already debating online. Albus Dumbledore has always been one of the most layered characters in the Harry Potter universe. In the films, Richard Harris portrayed him as a calm, wise, almost ethereal figure, the archetype of a gentle mentor. Michael Gambon's version was more commanding, stern, and emotionally intense, especially in later films. Now enters John Lithgow, known for his commanding stage presence, refined intellect, and range, from warm and comedic to chilling and complex. Lithgow has the potential to merge both interpretations and even go beyond them. Imagine a Dumbledore with more visible emotional scars, a man weighed down by secrets and guilt from his past. We might see more of his relationship with Grindelwald explored with nuance, or a version of Dumbledore who is colder, more manipulative, less of a grandfather figure, and more of a tactician in the war against Voldemort. Could this be the Dumbledore we always should have seen? Brilliant but morally gray? Alan Rickman's portrayal of Snape is nothing short of iconic. His deep voice, his controlled intensity, and the tragic weight he carried defined Snape for generations of fans. Rickman gave us a Snape who was cold on the outside, but driven by love, loyalty, and pain. Papa Essiedu, a rising star known for emotionally raw performances and intense charisma, could take this character in a completely new direction. Essiedu's Snape might be sharper, angrier, and less emotionally restrained. We could finally see a version of Snape who is truly tortured, perhaps more expressive in his bitterness and more volatile in his dual life as Death Eater and spy. This Snape might be less quiet sadness and more barely contained rage, and that in its own way could make his sacrifice even more powerful. Maggie Smith was regal, sharp, and wonderfully sarcastic, a perfect mix of headmistress and battle commander. She owned every scene with elegance and authority. Janet McTeer, a powerhouse of stage and screen, brings a different kind of strength. She's taller, more physically imposing, and has a reputation for playing complex, no-nonsense women. Her McGonagall could be stricter, fiercer, more hands-on with dueling and defense. Perhaps less grandmotherly and more military commander. This could make her role in the Battle of Hogwarts even more intense and show a side of McGonagall we only glimpsed in the films. A true warrior beneath the academic robes. Robbie Coltrane's Hagrid was lovable, warm-hearted, and a little bumbling. His kindness was his defining trait, and his innocence was what made him such a perfect bridge between Harry and the magical world. Nick Frost, known for his roles in comedies like Shaun of the Dead, brings a different energy. He could lean more into Hagrid's humor, but also, potentially, his darker side. In the books, Hagrid is a bit rougher around the edges. He drinks, gets into fights, and has a temper. This Hagrid might be more flawed, more human, but still protective and deeply loyal. A Hagrid who feels like he could survive in the Forbidden Forest on his own, and who you wouldn't want to cross. Ian Hart's Quirrell was nervous, twitchy, and largely forgettable, until the big twist at the end. His performance served its purpose, but there wasn't much depth to his character. Luke Thalon could offer something very different. He might give us a more cunning, intelligent Quirrell, someone whose alliance with Voldemort feels calculated rather than coerced. Imagine a Quirrell who isn't just possessed, but seduced by dark power. That change alone could add layers to one of the most overlooked villains in the story. David Bradley's Filch was creepy, pathetic, and a little tragic. He was there mostly for comic relief and to serve as a minor annoyance. Paul Whitehouse, while also a comedic actor, might lean more into Filch's bitterness. What if this version is more sinister? What if we finally understand why he's so obsessed with punishing students? A Filch with a tragic backstory could add unexpected depth to a once flat character. This one is pure fan speculation, but Cillian Murphy as Voldemort is a fascinating idea. Ralph Fiennes brought operatic grandeur to the role. His Voldemort was theatrical, terrifying, and almost alien. Cillian Murphy, on the other hand, has a quiet intensity. Think Peaky Blinders, chilling, focused, and disturbingly human. If cast, Murphy might give us a more psychological version of the Dark Lord, a Tom Riddle who never lost his charm, whose evil is subtle and persuasive. A Voldemort you could almost believe in, and maybe that's even scarier. As the Harry Potter series prepares to enter a new era, one question remains. Which of these characters are you most excited or terrified to see reimagined? And do you think any of them could surpass the originals? Let me know in the comments. Or better yet, who would you cast? If you like the video and don't want to miss the next one, subscribe. I will be very grateful.